Hey guys, we are back at the World Autism Summit, and I am so thrilled to introduce Rita Hernandez. We are just discovering the light in everybody and the spark in everybody in the autism and neurodiversity world. And Rita, I met, is quite the coincidence. She used to live 2 blocks down the street from where I grew up in the same exact place. It's pretty amazing. Synchronicity is God's way of remaining anonymous, I suppose. Rita Hernandez is also the founder and CEO of ASPIKA.com, a 21st century innovating global approach to personal and professional advancement for high school graduates and university students, providing tools, resources, community support, and advocacy involvement to the neurodiverse community, becoming one of the most efficiency platforms in the world, with more than 39 countries interacting daily. That's amazing. The power of the neurodiversity movement lies in its emphasis on celebrating and embracing differences rather than trying to cure or fix individuals with neurological differences. It recognizes that individuals with different neurological profiles have unique talents, skills, and perspectives that can contribute to society in meaningful ways. ASPIKA.com is designed to be inclusive and welcoming to all, excuse me, regardless of their neurodiverse condition or background, prioritizing diversity and representation, a global platform accessible to everyone. Today, ASPIKA.com is one of the few platforms owning the rights to all its best content, campaigns, ASPIKA, transformational talks, exchange, summit support, and others. So welcome, Rita. How do you do it?
Thank you. First of all, thank you for having me, Karen. Thank you for the invitation. I feel very, very happy to be here today. How do I do it? Oh my goodness. I do it, I believe it's the 42 years of my lifespan in media. I think that's how I do it. I grew up in media. You and I have discussed my background, with AICONICA, but as well as leading major networks in the world. From NBC, Telemundo, Bravo, Universal, moving on to Dubai Televisions, Seoul Broadcasting, Fuji Networks in Japan, and on, and Paramount as well. And for me, it has been the now moment. I live in the now moment. It has not been easy. It has not been easy because I am a neurodivergent. And at first, it was very, very difficult for me. And I went through a lot. I went through a lot, not understanding when I started at the age of 16. I didn't know who I was, what I wanted. And I was just very lucky to have people that led me into the successful career that I have had in media. But it has been difficult. It has been very, very difficult. And that's how I do it, apart from masking every single day.
I can relate.
Oh, yes. Especially, I don't mask in the ASPIKA world. I do mask in the AICONICA media world because it is, apart from all, that's an industry that you probably know as well as I. You're masking, 101% of the time in media and entertainment, unfortunately, but that's the way it is. That's the nature of the industry.
Well, I know everybody's going to wonder what AICONICA is anyway, so you might want to fill that in.
Yes, well, AICONICA, once I resigned from all these wonderful general and Hispanic market media industries in the United States, I decided to go independent. And that's when I started traveling around the world. And what I do is called marketing intelligence. Marketing intelligence is I create marketing blueprints. Now, these are not presentations. These are like when a company makes an acquisition, I need to fix it. I need to project it, and I need to make it work. Therefore, I need to become an architect of this media company and make sales work along with programming and all of the other departments. It's very complex. It's very difficult. And now, a lot of people ask me, especially those that have known me since the university time, how did you do? How did you do it? Because I had a very difficult time with math all of my life. Very, very difficult. However, I did have a forte, and my forte was I could walk into a corporation, any kind of corporation, and see what was going on in there. And it's not about terminating people in one area. It's just about fixing it and accommodating the people where they belong, Because see, I've never been good in math. However, I am good. I have a forte in business and many other arenas as well. So see, that is all about, how neurodiversity should be treated as well. And I think that's how this was all born, apart from me being a neurodivergent, my son as well. And I just had to make it happen. But Iconica has been very successful. Going back to Iconica, I love it. But if I have to choose today, I would choose ASPIKA 100%.
You're focusing on your gifts, strengths, and your talents, right?
Yes, that is correct. That is correct.
So you are very, very globally focused and globally minded. What I've been asking everybody is why the World Autism Summit? And I guess it goes without saying that you're already a global thinker, but you're bringing everything globally. And if you want to speak to that, maybe, just share a few thoughts on that.
Yes. Well, one of the reasons why I launched ASPIKA is my life story. Let's say it like that. ASPIKA is my life story. And then my son was the one that pushed me into, oh, okay, you have launched and have helped launch and founded all these media corporations. Why not your own? And I said, yeah, that's what I want ASPIKA to be, a media network, but just focused on the demographical group of neurodivergence. Because after all, and I see it more on the marketing end, we are a very powerful demographical group, even for brands, for clothing, for medical, for all of the above. We are a very powerful demographical group. And that's how everything started with ASPIKA. Gabriel went into, and I think I mentioned this story to you before. I'm sorry, I'm going back and forth. But when Gabriel graduated from high school, my daughter, Angelina, she was still in the 10th grade, brilliant as well. She's a neurotypical. She was receiving all of these wonderful letters, acceptance letters from all of the universities you can possibly imagine. And Gabriel was already graduating and not a single letter. Now, Gabriel is brilliant, super smart. His vocabulary is like, he's always telling me, Mom, that's not the way you say it. This is the way you say it. And I go, I'm sorry, I speak 4 languages. I get everything crossed, So he's just absolutely brilliant. And he wanted to go through the university experience. But I will not mention the universities because I know they have fixed some of the issues they had, but we went to one of the universities here in Florida, and it was just so difficult and so disturbing, Karen. He was being interviewed, I was being interviewed, and it just a lot of things that were unnecessary. And he, at the end of the day, we got this letter saying you're not accepted because we went over capacity. And I actually went in and I requested a meeting with the board. And I said, if you're going to put out these programs, a neurotypical, my daughter is already nervous about the university. and the steps into her future. And imagine my son as a neurodivergent, how he feels. It's like triple the effect. And for him to receive a letter after all of these hundreds of interviews, he had to perform as well as I. And to receive that kind of a letter, that is very uncalled for. You need to fix your system.
Yeah.
And I felt like I had to voice it out, and they have fixed a lot of the issues they had opening that program. Thank goodness. But we need to voice it out. We cannot stay quiet any longer. We need to voice out all of these issues because the system, the educational system, is broken. It's very broken all over the world. You cannot expect for all of us to fit into a classroom. And that was it just doesn't happen that way. I had educators tell me, Karen, you need to quit. You don't understand math. You need to quit. And I kept hearing all this until somebody just took me under the wing and taught me the way my mind operates. So that's why I believe in people with differences. And that is one of my missions in the We Are ASPIKA Foundation. We need to believe with people with differences because I know that we can give a lot. And I am one of those. I am one of those that have changed a lot of the things and have created a lot of the things being utilized today in the media arena.
That's great. You are making a big, big difference. And there's so many families and so many children out there that hurt so much. I know my own son hurts a lot because, people don't accept him for who he is. They don't give him a chance. He feels like his resumes end up in a garbage can, that they're lost in a space he never hears back, and it's just so hard on people.
Yes.
They just don't understand. And that's why I do what I do. That's my why, which leads to me asking you. And I think I understand why you do what you do too.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I want to take the power of media and all of the contacts I have behind and make this happen. And one of the things that that happened with my son, Gabriel, I requested to go into an interview with him, because I wanted to know what was going on in that interview. And obviously, because I saw him coming in and out, 5 minutes into an interview, Karen, Gabriel was coming out. And I was like, what happened? And he's like, well, he just asked me 2 questions and that was it. And the system is broken there as well. If we don't adjust, if we don't fix human resources, all of these managers, if there's not a training put into place, this is going to continue happening. So I went back in there. Now, again, I'm very aggressive about it. And I asked, what did you ask my son? I want to know if he went through the correct process of an interview. And it's okay. And I explained to this manager, it's okay if he is looking down, because I used to do that myself. It is okay if he's playing with his hair, because I used to do that as well. It's okay. That doesn't make any difference. And we've had, just over and over. And I like to attack at the moment. I like to address it at the moment. I travel a lot. And of course, I take my children with me a lot. And just the other day, and I'll mention the name because I actually wrote a letter and all with American Airlines. I had to make various connections. And of course, Gabriel was traveling with me. And he got, it was just a lot for him. Mm-hmm. So that third connection, I said, I'm traveling with a high support person. And so the flight attendant asked me, can I see the person? So I brought him. Now, keep in mind, I was also very stressed and steaming at that time as well, because I do get exhausted from my uh, line of work, and she asked, "What is wrong with him? Why is he high support?" And I told him, "Excuse me, I'm going to educate you about this today. Not every disability shows.
Right.
It's not out there to be shown, you know, and this is who he is. And this is the support that he needs. And I need him to go in the plane right now. He cannot make this line, you know, and they let me in, but I am positive they make it impossible for other adults, as well as children and parents.
They don't understand.
It needs to be communicated and addressed at that time, little by little, person by person. It doesn't matter. Maybe I don't see the end of it, but it needs to continue and be addressed at that time, whether it's on a plane, on a school, on a job place, and on.
I know it does. It needs to be addressed in every industry, every situation. We just finished doing a presentation to the School of Rock, not a presentation, a course for the School of Rock to teach the music teachers how to teach the kids in their classrooms, because a lot of kids are drawn to music. A lot of autistic and neurodivergent kids love music, but the music teachers have challenges around how do we teach that kid who has social challenges, sensory issues, communication issues, behavioral issues. So Stephen Shore and I put together a presentation and did this course for them. And I'm really applaud the School of Rock for doing that, because, you know, now they have a tool in their school that they can use for all the music teachers. And if we had systems, if we had things like that in the airline industry, that they could teach, you know, the pilots, the stewardesses, other people, so they understand these conditions, and they can understand the invisible disabilities or, you know, differences, then they could be educated more, and then everybody can understand, you know?
Exactly. Well, I didn't make a big deal, but I did speak, you know, I do travel a lot, and I do have the advantage, you know, I go into all these arenas where Gabriel and I can rest, and I kind of educated everyone that day.
That's good.
It's important. And a lot of them told me, you know, this is all new to us, and it's so great that you're doing it. So that means that they are not being educated correctly through their HR departments, that this can happen, And oh my goodness, I'm so happy to hear what you just told me about music. Growing up, I in middle school and high school, I played in the band, and I happened to play one of the most difficult instruments, the oboe.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know. Oh, that's great. I played the French.
Yes, and the oboe, I mean, I loved it, but it kind of bothered my ears, so I used to cover my ears, of course, but I was the best at it. You know, so imagine, you know, it's someone that would like see me, they were like, why is she covering her ears playing the oboe? You know, but that way I was able to listen to the rest of the woodwinds around me and see how I can create that connectivity with them. It was easier on me to learn that way. So yes, imagine the oboe. It's very, very difficult. And I did it, middle school as well as high school.
Yeah, we had those programs down in South Florida. We had the orchestra, and it was really great. And I'd love to see those programs in every school, because they teach you so much. I played the French horn, and it was very important to my life, even to this day. I love it, and I really would love to have everybody have those experiences, because that's the language of music is so, you know, wonderful, and teaches us so much.
Yes, that's fantastic. That is fantastic. I'm very happy to hear those news. Congratulations on that closing. That's fantastic.
Thank you. What is your vision for the future with the help of the ASPIKA platform?
The vision for the future is a lot. Oh my goodness, just create a lot of content, produce a lot of content, get it out there. For example, now we launch Neurodiverse's global podcast. We associated with Spanish Broadcasting System. A lot of people don't know what Spanish Broadcasting System is, but this is the most powerful radio network in the United States, and right now they're expanding globally. How are they expanding globally? One of their stations, radio stations in New York and LA, is the #1 radio stations in the world. But now they launched the SBS Global Podcast. They associated with Spotify, Pandora, Audible, Amazon Music, and many others. Of course, they have the power to deal with those kind of contracts. And they asked ASPIKA to come up with a podcast division for them. And so we just associated, we just closed on that. So ASPIKA has Neurodiverse, which is Neurodiverse in English. It's going to be just like the ASPIKA Talks and everything at ASPIKA, whatever language you decide to speak, you will be more than welcome. And yes, and we are also launching the news. We're going to launch a news cast. For example, your event, that can be a wonderful story in the newscast. It's also going to be in Spanish and English. And we're launching also, ASPIKA is going to be supporting a film festival. Those are the events that we also want to work with. Basically, there's a lot of neural talents out there, Karen, and they deserve the opportunity. So we're working with William Vela. He's the one that leads the Miami Short Film Festival. And we're going to be doing this with other programmers as well. And we're going to give the opportunity for 20 cinematographers from around the world, neurodivergent, to send in their elements, their material, their movie, their short. And we're going to cover all of the expenses to make this happen for them, to be showcased in the festival. So there's so much going on. There's just so much going on. We are already producing TV shows as well that we are going to be distributing all over networks.
Wow.
They don't need to purchase the property from us. We just want them to put it on the air.
And so when is this happening?
Well, this just commenced. We just did the first Spanish speaking Las Voces del Autismo, and we are going to be producing the same content in English. And now we are working on the distribution to get all this out to all of the networks, so they can put it either on satellite, on streaming, on cable, or just, regular line, just the regular TV, which is the line producing arena, which is the TV that we know. It's just regular, your ABC, NBC, that's what we call the line, just regular line television, the linear one.
Nice.
So we're working on that. We're working on getting all that out, as well as all of the campaigns that we are producing.
Wow.
And we want to work with everybody. We want to get everybody in ASPIKA. We want to promote all of the corporations around the world. There's no charges in ASPIKA. That's why, your life story is phenomenal, Karen. Everybody's life story is phenomenal. And we just want to get it out there. We want to get the voice out there. That's what everybody says. It is my voice. It's my story. And I'm just so happy I can get it out there. And we are very aggressive about it.
That's good. That's really, really good. Stories are everything.
Yeah.
We learned that, like even doing the Chicken Soup for the Soul, the children with special needs book, we had so many stories way back in the day. We had 5,000 stories come in. We could only put 100 stories in the book. So that was just from one book. There are tons of stories in this category. And
that's phenomenal. That's so wonderful. We got to do a story about you, about that. And we got to get it out there so people know those stories. that you produced, that you thought about, that you wrote. It's so
Those are
important.
not mine. They're everybody's stories. There's just
Oh my
many
goodness,
stories.
imagine that. That's phenomenal. That is outstanding. You deserve just one interview yourself about all this. It's important. It's important that we don't stop, that we continue. Um, next steps for ASPIKA is also the ASPIKA book, which I am writing. And the title, it's I decided to go with a very unique title. It's named What If I Told You? And during an interview from England, I was asked, can you tell us more about What If I Told You? And, this was three amazing young ladies, neurotypicals, very brilliant, cheery, and everything beautiful you can possibly imagine. And I go, yeah, of course, I can tell you more about it. What if I told you I was autistic? That's why it's the title, What If I Told You? It's just very, it's a marketing term to leave you thinking. And it was just, Karen, it was just silence when I said that. There was a silence in that interview, pure silence. I actually had to break through. And I said, well, do you have any questions? And one of them said, oh yeah, but you're not autistic, right? That's just the title. And it was just, I said, see, that is the purpose behind this book. You will be surprised how many neurodivergents, how many autistic people live around you, whether they're diagnosed or non-diagnosed.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah. So it's again, one of the things that I have noticed a difference, there's a stigma around words. For example, before I could say, I'm an ASPI, Asperger's, and it was okay. In fashion, as I call it.
Yeah, in
fashion. But then when you change the wording and you say, I am autistic, it still provokes some sort of what? Shock in a lot of people. But it's the same. It's the same, and that's one of the things that we need to educate, that it is okay to be dyslexic. It is okay to be autistic. It is beautiful to be a neurodivergent. It is who you are. I still have a lot of difficulties today dealing with people, making, eye connection sometimes. I still have a lot of difficulties. And it is okay to be who I am.
Right. It's okay for everybody to be who they are. It is. Yeah. And language is very, very tricky. I mean, we had, when we were trying to name that chicken soup book, we had so many people come back with what they didn't want to hear, what they did want to hear. And the languaging was just very, very, very tricky. We had lots of different comments. So, and the language I've watched over the past, however many years, 30 years, shift and change and ebb and flow, that it's just gone back and forth. So yeah, it is very tricky. The bottom line is we are who we are, and it's okay to be whatever we want to be.
That is correct. You have to own your person, own your person, be who you want to be. And I have noticed going around to universities around the world, I have noticed that there's a lot of young adults, neurodivergent young adults, that are afraid to raise their hand and say, I am indeed a neurodivergent. So, that's what I communicate to all of them. Own yourself, own yourself, be who you are, say who you are. It doesn't matter if it creates a shock in people. You're never going to see that person again in the first place. They're not going to pay for your bills. They're not going to, own your persona. Be who you are, and that's it. That's where you're going to find success, and people are going to believe in you. Don't hide anymore. We're over that.
Yes.
This is a movement. The neurodiversity movement is very powerful, and I have been communicating that to brands as well. This is your new target. Don't ignore it.
That's
My
right.
son cannot wear any kind of clothing.
Right, right. It's important to address an invisible disability because you can't see, you can't identify it a lot of times. But really importantly, it's important to say that you have a challenge around certain things, like a social challenge, or a communication challenge, or whether it's verbal or nonverbal, just to identify what the challenge is and
Yeah.
have a tool to be able to get past that challenge.
Absolutely, absolutely. I was just in a university where the person that spoke right behind me, autistic, and he had a very difficult time commencing his speech. We need to help. We're all so different. We need to make it comfortable for everyone. And that was the case with me as well. When I was very, very young, I would go up on a stage. I could practice for a whole month or 2 months, Karen. The minute I will make it up to stage, to do a marketing presentation, I would just go blank until, I had these heroes behind me supporting me on where they said, no more cameras, no more pictures, and we're going to do smaller groups in order to make this happen for Rita.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, if we don't have people like that, and that's exactly what I did. You live and you learn. And I noticed that this young man, brilliant young man, wanted to give his presentation, but he saw all of these cameras, all of these phones taking pictures, and, done. You have to support the differences, and he couldn't do it. I immediately noticed, because I have lived and I learned from that was one of my, I just could. The minute I would see a camera, it was like, please, no, I can't. It just completely blank. And I noticed that was the scenario with him. And we need to be there present to support everyone like that. It is okay to stop. It is okay to breathe. It is okay to look down. It is okay not to have cameras or pictures taken. It is okay.
Everybody has their own comfort zone. Everybody has their own way of being. I know when I get up on a stage, a big stage with a lot of people, I'm more comfortable because I can't see them. It's okay. But if I'm in smaller groups, I kind of freeze up. But
Yeah,
if
I'm the opposite. You see, I am the opposite. I can't, because I need to befriend everybody. I need to that's very, it's, I'm sure Louise can analyze me a bit more on that end. I need to befriend everybody and make that connectivity with those 50 people. That way I am just me, and I do whatever. I use my hands whichever way. It's just me. And if I do Spanglish, I do Spanglish. If I, sometimes, I say, I salute in Korean, whichever way, it is okay. So I need to make that connectivity with that smaller team. So that's the way I work best.
And that's good to be sensitive to that.
Yeah.
What does ASPIKA stand for? I'm really curious.
ASPIKA is Inspirational Academy. Inspirational Academy. Yeah, I'm sure you've seen it in the logo, inspiring success. So everything is behind inspiration. Inspirational Academy. And my husband, he is an icon, a creative content icon in the Hispanic television market. He has created the most popular content in the Hispanic market. in the United States.
Oh.
And he is the one that comes up with all of these wonderful, I cannot take credit on that. He comes up with all of these wonderful names, just like Neurodiverse, Transformational Global Podcast, as well as ASPIKA. He is, he's just a brain. He has created all these wonderful things that are beyond myself.
And teamwork is everything, isn't it? Good to have a good partnership relationship. And that's what another question I wanted to ask you about global partnerships and relationships. What do you see as being a good way to collaborate with other organizations in partnership relationships globally?
I think, again, that we all need to come together. Today is, and I explained this in the marketing end in a lot of corporations with Iconica, I explain today you cannot grow by yourself. Right. You cannot grow by yourself. Major networks need to have tribes. We need to create different tribes. And I'll explain to you what that is and to everyone that's listening, because it's important that we become tribes, different tribes. And for example, in your case with World Autism Summit, you have ASPIKA, you have this, and you have that. Through ASPIKA and other corporations, you're going to be gathering tribes that perhaps you don't have yet. Mm-hmm. These are demographical tribes that you still don't have. There's this popular persona that did an ASPIKA talk. He is, he is like the right hand on the Hispanic end for Deepak Chopra. Okay. And his target, he's a neurodivergent, and he's ASPIKA talk for the first time in his career. He released that he is a neurodivergent. But his platform was focused and targeted to a complete different demographical group. Nothing to do with the neurodivergent demographical group, as well as disability. So once he did his ASPIKA talk, he kind of did the coalition crossover to his network as well. And he told me, his manager told me, Rita, I am surprised that we now have a complete demographical group in our arena. So if you cannot do things, everyone needs to be connected. And that is the idea behind ASPIKA. If you go into ASPIKA, whatever college, whatever resource, whatever ASPIKA talks, everyone is connected there to their websites, to their corporations, to their books, to their everything. Because if you don't connect people with your projects, you work in your own bubble, So if people don't hear about, for example, World Autism Summit, now it's going to be placed in ASPIKA as ASPIKA will be supporting the project. So the tribe that ASPIKA has that perhaps you didn't have is going to hop over and say, wow, I want to be part of that event or listen to that event as well. So if we don't all connect in one, we all need to connect somehow. And that's how we're going to create the greatest impact in the world. Great. But we need to do that. We need to share each other. No one is a competition. No one is a competition to you, to ASPIKA, to nobody. We need to become one and just one. No pages. I have in ASPIKA, oh my goodness, the neurodivergent network. I have, and no, I don't see no one as a competitor to ASPIKA. I want to promote everyone, because if we don't become just that light, just one light, it's never going to happen.
That's right. Well, I love it.
Yes. So we need to become just one. We all need to share our goods. You will always remain in ASPIKA forever, forever and ever. You and many others will always remain in ASPIKA, because people will find out about you, people that need your information, because ASPIKA cannot do it all. impossible.
Right. That's
The
right.
people that need you will find you through ASPIKA.
Right. That's great. And well, that's great. How can you share your expertise with others and help other organizations around the world?
The same way I'm doing with you right now, having lots of Zoom conferences and explaining to them how we all need to become one and how I can promote a lot of them. You
Mhm.
know, ASPIKA is here to help, to support every corporation in the world. Just like we're doing with all your summit, many other summits, we produce, we post-produce, we target social media aggressively, and all that is zero cost to everyone that gets involved in ASPIKA that looks for our support. That's how I can educate everyone, having this kind of conversations and just doing it. And we've had a lot of people in the last 4.5 years, 5 years now, just come and Rita, can we do this in ASPIKA? Can you help us? Absolutely. Let's do it. And so that's how I can help everyone. But again, they need to, for example, I write to a lot of people having conferences, and I tell them, let's have a conference, a Zoom conference, and I'll explain to you how we can help. It's zero cost. Because a lot of people, whenever they do the conference, the Zoom conference, at the end, they ask Karen, but Rita, how much is this going to cost me? I know media is expensive, production is expensive, post-production is expensive, social media distribution is expensive.
Right.
And I tell them, I'm going to be supporting it all. There's zero cost to you.
How do you do that? It's amazing.
It's my life mission. It's my life mission, my vision, and I found it, ASPIKA for that purpose. I take care of it all. I have the team behind it to make it happen. I have a team behind it that I support 100%. They work for ASPIKA as well as Iconica, and I make it happen. We have already, for ASPIKA, we have 12 people on board. They're all neurodivergent. So for me, that is a blessing. And I think I mentioned this to you, one of our voices, Anna Maria, she is autistic, dyspraxic, ADHDer, and she's this wonderful voice in all of the campaigns for ASPIKA. And then we have Luis Carreño, that's dyslexic. In Spanish, he is the most beautiful voice we can have for all of the campaigns in ASPIKA. So we have so many people, and eventually, I want to bring more people on board. I want to hire more. I want to make I want ASPIKA to become the corporation with the most neurodivergent working for us. That's what I want in the future. Everyone that we hire to be neurodivergent, to give opportunities, open opportunities in marketing, engineering, technical production, everything. So that's how I do it. I have a team behind me that's very powerful, and I believe in all of their talent. I believe they can all do it.
And you have job opportunities for neurodivergent people to get.
We do. Whenever we open, we hire. Right now, I have a full house because I try to help so many people. Oh my goodness. I mean, we have people from all over the world. And Rita, is there something? We actually just hired 2 editors that graduated, one in Spain, one here in the United States, and they cannot find a job. And I go, well, let's see, we have a lot of editing going on. So maybe I cannot pay you like a yearly salary, but maybe this project you can do for me. And they're like, oh gosh. And then not only that, I can also support them, if they need to put ASPIKA in their credentials. All they need to do is ask me. You have worked for ASPIKA, you have supported ASPIKA, and you did a phenomenal job for ASPIKA, even if you were independent for a couple of months.
Nice.
So, yeah.
That's great. What is your next platform?
Next platform. Oh my goodness. within ASPIKA.
Well, I'm sorry, what is next for your platform?
Oh, the next for the platform,
Yeah.
the news. That's what I'm focused on. Again, the podcast was already launched. Dr. Hernan Serna, which is brilliant. He's on board. All of the collaborators that we're bringing in, they're also on board. That's going to be showcased already in aspika.com and the Neurodiverse's global platform. And now it's the news. Now is the news, and I can't wait for that. It's going to be a lot of work, but we're going to have, different, collaborators in different countries. So that's the next hiring. That's actually the next hiring collaborators, young collaborators in different countries, to look for all these wonderful stories that we need for ASPIKA news.
That's really, really good. So how can people get in touch with you to provide news and things like that?
Yes, they can reach out through info@aspika.com. I have a person just dedicated to info@aspika.com. We also going to launch a campaign about it, that we are going to be looking for collaborators in all of the countries for the news. And but definitely for them to write at info@aspika, to reach out, because it's just a lot of people globally, Karen, and we do have opportunities in and out. We recently had an opportunity for a voiceover, because I mean, Louis and Anna Maria cannot do it all. So we had it for a campaign, and we've hired someone from Italy to do, to do that voiceover, as well as from Brazil. So yes, just opportunities. We credit everybody. We celebrate everybody for what they're doing. Any books, any launch books, writers, we celebrate everyone. Every single day we celebrate neurodiversity in ASPIKA. It's not just about, autism a day or dyspraxia day. No, we don't celebrate days, specific dates. We celebrate every single day, because every single day someone out there is launching a podcast. If you go into, I know we have our podcast, but we also have a podcast division, and where we give all of the opportunity you can possibly imagine to global podcaster, neurodivergent, to release their podcast, to showcase their podcast, and we also celebrate and promote their podcasts. Each of the podcasts has their flags that describes where they're producing from, where they come from, the language as well. So yeah, it's again, it's about celebration. ASPIKA is about celebrating who we are, accepting who we are in the open. This is who we are, owning who we are, and doing what we have to do, and celebrating our work. Look at me. I am a sample of that.
You're amazing. Do you have any other final words for our audience?
Just to reach out, whatever you need. If you're going to release your book, let's celebrate you. Let's celebrate your conferences. Let's celebrate what you're doing, your films, your content. Everyone, let's celebrate every day your achievements. Reach out to us at info@aspika.com, and we're going to do the best we possibly can to get you out there, to try to find a job for you. We have a lot of people like that. I want to do an ASPIKA talk and talk about what I need, what I want to do in the world, a fashion designer. Just send us the information, reach out. We are here to support the community, and this is who we are, and this is who we celebrate, and it's neurodiversity.
Well, I love what you're doing. It really resonates with me. And I mean, the fact that you're living 2 blocks down from where I grew up, it's like, is amazing. Total
Yes,
synchronicity.
yes, that was just, I just couldn't
Yeah.
believe it. I
And
just
your
couldn't.
kids went to the school I went to.
Yes, yes, yes. It's we all went to the same schools. Oh my goodness. Uh,
Elementary, junior high, and high school.
yes, yes. Great neighborhood somewhere in Florida. A
Yeah,
great neighborhood. It's been wonderful,
it
Karen. Thank you
has.
so much for having me.
Thank
I hope
you.
everyone reaches out. I'm here. I travel a lot, but again, I have the most amazing team behind me, supporting me, and let's make it happen. Let's all connect as one. Remember, we're not competition to one another. We
No,
are just one light, one demographical group, whichever way you want to see it, but we are just one.
that's amazing. Thank you so much for everything you do, Rita. And thank you for being part of the World Autism Summit.
Thank you so much. I appreciate very much being here.
Thank you.